Hello, my name is Edwin Yee. I'm a first-year CS student, and I'm interested in becoming a ULA for my first choice CS8, and then my second choice would be CS24. And I go by he, him pronouns. And the reason why I'm interested in becoming a ULA is because I found that when I struggled with certain concepts in CS16, the TAs really helped me out in understanding how to do these things. So one example would be on recursion. I really struggled in understanding how recursion worked. And so the TAs helped me in understanding what stack frames were, how each of the functions call each other, and how each of them go out, and that sort of thing. So the concept I'm going to be explaining today might show up in CS8, and it's on control structures. And the one I'm talking about is a for loop. So let me share my screen. So the basis for a for loop is to try to do something over and over again, or to iterate over and over again, to do something a bunch of times. So let's say you want to print the number 10 5 times. So I'm gonna write print 10, which is what you want to do. And let's say you just wanted to do it 5 times. So then if you were to write this code explicitly, you would have to do print 10, print 10, print 10, print 10, print 10, which is a little bit repetitive. So there has to be a better way, right? And there is. It's called a for loop. And to make a for loop, you have to write for, and you need 3 things inside of the for loop. So I'm gonna write one in red, one in orange, and one in blue. So the first one is called the initialization. So you initialize some variable. You can call it anything, but I'll call it I. And I'm gonna set it equal to 0. And then to split each of these little 3 conditions or 3 steps, you have to put a semicolon in between them. So the first one is initialization. The second one is a comparison. So you have to compare your initialized variable to something. So since I called it I, I'm going to compare I to some variable, and I'm going to say 5 because I want to iterate it 5 times. And then the last one is the update. You have to update your variable I to something so that it eventually meets your condition, or else it's going to go on forever. And we don't want that. So I'm going to update my I value by saying I++, which is a shorthand version of saying I equals I plus 1, or just simply incrementing I by 1. So now that's the hard part of the for loop. And the more simple part is what you put inside of it. Well, at least for this example, the more simple part is what you put inside of it. And so since we just want to print the number 10 5 times, we could say print 10 inside the for loop, which does it 5 times now. Or instead of print, it will be cout for C++, but I'm going to write print 10. And for this, now the number 10 gets printed out 10 times. So to show you each of the steps, I'm going to do a little thing on the side and go through the whole for loop. The first part would be the initialization. I should probably do this in red. So yeah, red. Initialization, I equals 0. So I'm going to write on the side in red, I is equal to 0. So now the next part is to check if that I is less than 5, since that's our condition. So it's I less than 5. Let's see, if 0 less than 5, yes it is. So since that's true, we now go, let me sort of box this, that was our condition. We now go and print 5, or print 10. So now 110 shows up. So now after that, we go to the increment, I++. So instead of I equals 10, I now becomes 1. And this repeats over and over again until our condition is no longer satisfied. So I equals 1, we print our 10, increment, print another 10, increment, print another 10, increment, I equals 4, print another 10. And then once we reach I equals 5, something special happens because the condition is no longer satisfied, because 5 is not less than 5. So now what happens? It's false, and so we exit the loop. And so what we can see here, I'm going to box in red, is that our output is 5 tens, which is exactly what you wanted. And instead of writing print 5 times, we did it in a for loop.